I've always known my place in the family hierarchy, somewhere between the houseplants and my mother's collection of decorative plates. The golden child spot was firmly occupied by my sister Daphne, who was currently holding court at our monthly family brunch, waving her left hand so the morning light could catch her obscenely large diamond. My name is Summer, and I'm the sister who wasn't supposed to be there that morning, but Daphne had insisted, which meant my mother had called 6 times until I agreed to come. It's absolutely perfect, my mother cooed, clutching Daphne's hand across the table. Tyson has exquisite taste. I stabbed at my eggs Benedict, wondering if anyone would notice if I slipped away. The restaurant's patio was crowded with Sunday brunches, but our table might as well have been on its own stage, with Daphne as the star. Summer, you're being awfully quiet, Daphne said, turning her spotlight smile my way. Aren't you excited about being part of my special day? Thrilled, I managed, forcing a smile. Congratulations again. Actually... Daphne's eyes gleamed with that look I knew too well. The one that meant she was about to ask for something while making it sound like she was doing me a favor. I've been thinking about the wedding stationery. You still do that little design hobby of yours, right? I felt my jaw tighten. 6 years of art school, 3 years building my freelance business, and my career was still a little hobby to them. I run a graphic design studio, I corrected quietly. And yes, I do wedding suites. Perfect! Daphne clapped her hands. You can do all my stationery. The save the dates, invitations, programs, everything. It'll be your wedding gift to us. My father looked up from his coffee. That's quite a lot of work, Daphne. Oh, please. My mother waved him off. Summer has plenty of time. It's not like she has a real job, or a relationship to worry about. The words hit like tiny arrows, precise and painful. I set my fork down, appetite gone. My rates start at... Rates? Daphne laughed, the sound like breaking glass. Don't be ridiculous, I'm your sister. Besides, it's the least you could do being single and everything. You can live vicariously through my perfect wedding. I looked around the table, at my father's suddenly fascinating coffee cup, my mother's expectant stare, and Daphne's triumphant smile. Years of similar moments flashed through my mind. My art school acceptance letter overshadowed by Daphne's promotion, my first major client overlooked because Daphne had a new boyfriend, every achievement minimized, every success dismissed. Of course, I heard myself say, my voice steady. I'd love to. See? My mother beamed. Summer knows how to be supportive. Daphne launched into her vision. Letterpress printing, gold foil, custom monograms. I nodded at appropriate intervals while something dark and determined unfurled in my chest. The save the dates need to go out next month, Daphne was saying. I'll send you my Pinterest board. Everything needs to be perfect. The Olivers are practically royalty in this city. I won't let you down, I promised. And for once, I meant every word. The rest of brunch passed in a blur of wedding talk and mimosas. As we stood to leave, Daphne pulled me into a perfumed hug. Thank you, little sister. I knew I could count on you to do this one thing right. I watched them leave, my parents flanking Daphne like proud bodyguards, her designer heels clicking on the pavement, her ring catching the light one last time. Then I drove home to my small but sunlit studio apartment, where my drafting table waited by the window. I pulled out my sketch pad and opened my laptop. A notification popped up, a message from my best friend Colin. How was the family torture session? The usual, I typed back. Daphne's engaged. Guess who's designing her wedding suite? Tell me you're charging triple. Better, I replied, a smile spreading across my face as I opened a blank document. I'm doing it for free. You? Working for free? Who are you and what have you done with Summer? I didn't respond immediately. Instead, I started sketching, each stroke precise and purposeful. If they wanted exposure, they'd get it. If they wanted perfect, I'd give them perfect. And if they wanted me to pour my heart into this project, well, they had no idea what was really in my heart. Trust me, I finally wrote back to Colin. This one's going to be worth every penny I'm not charging. My phone buzzed for the 20th time that morning. Daphne's messages kept coming like rapid fire. The scroll work needs to be more delicate. Can you make the gold more golden? That font looks cheap. Are you even listening to me? I set my coffee down and typed back, working on revisions now. The truth was, I'd already finished 3 perfect versions of the Save the Dates. But Daphne needed to feel in control, so I'd been sending her deliberately flawed designs, letting her fix them until we arrived at exactly what I'd planned all along. My phone rang. Colin, please tell me you're not actually working on a Sunday, he said when I picked up. Just making my sister feel important. I switched to speaker and continued sketching. How's the gallery setup going? That's actually why I'm calling. I need you to drop by the venue. There's something weird with the lighting, and you've got a better eye for... A loud voice from the hallway cut through our conversation. I recognized it immediately. Tyson, Daphne's fiancé. He must have been visiting the architecture firm next door. I know, he was saying, his voice getting clearer as he passed my studio door. Daphne's being intense about the wedding. No, babe, don't worry, I'll handle her. I froze. Daphne wasn't with him. She was at her yoga class. I'd know because she'd sent me a selfie an hour ago. Colin, I'll call you back, I whispered, ending the call. Moving silently, I pressed my ear to the door. Miss you too, V, Tyson continued, his voice dropping lower. Last night was... Yeah, we'll do it again soon. Daphne's got this wedding planning thing on Thursday. Come over? My hand flew to my mouth. V, as in Valerie? Daphne's best friend and maid of honor? I waited until his footsteps faded, then grabbed my laptop. My fingers flew across the keyboard, searching Instagram. There it was. Valerie's profile, recently made private. But her latest public post was still visible, a sunset photo captioned, Summer Nights and Secret Delights. The timestamp matched a night Daphne had called me crying because Tyson was working late. I sat in the growing darkness of my studio, my design work forgotten. The responsible thing would be to tell Daphne, but I already knew how that would play out. She'd accuse me of jealousy, of trying to ruin her happiness. My mother would say I was making things up for attention. My phone buzzed again. Daphne, the Save the Dates have to go out next week. The Olivers are throwing us an engagement party, and everyone needs to know the date beforehand. Don't screw this up. I stared at her message, then at my sketches. The elegant borders I'd designed could easily hide a QR code, small enough to seem decorative, but clear enough to scan. And once scanned... Summer? Colin was at my door. You okay? You never called back. I let him in, showing him Tyson's call, Valerie's post, everything. Holy shit, he whispered, scrolling through my phone. Are you going to tell her? No. I pulled up my design software. I'm going to show everyone. Summer. His voice held a warning. Think about what you're doing. I have thought about it. For 29 years I've thought about it. About being the family disappointment. The silly little sister with her silly little hobby. I turned my screen toward him. Want to help me set up a private photo album? This is crazy, he said, but he was already pulling up a chair. You know there's no going back once you do this. I started working on the QR code, making it blend seamlessly into the design. Going back to what? Being everyone's doormat? Fair point. He watched me work for a moment. But maybe we should sleep on it? No. I kept designing, my hands steady. The Save the Dates go out next week. Everything needs to be perfect, remember? Colin stayed late, helping me test the QR code and set up the private album. When he finally left, the studio was dark except for my screen's glow. My phone lit up with one last message from Daphne. Just saw your latest design. Much better. See what happens when you actually listen to me? Maybe you're not hopeless after all. I smiled at my screen, at the intricate pattern that would soon expose every lie. Thanks, sis, I typed back. I'm putting my whole heart into this one. And I was. Just not in the way she thought. I saved the final design and sent it to my printer. In 7 days, 300 save the dates would go out to Minneapolis's finest. 300 chances for the truth to come out. Let the countdown begin. The print shop smelled like fresh ink and expensive paper. I stood watching as the first save the date came off the press, its gold foil catching the light. Perfect, down to the last detail, including the nearly invisible QR code woven into the border's flourishes. These are stunning, the printer said, holding one up. Wedding season keeps us busy, but this design, it's different. Special. If he only knew. My phone buzzed. Daphne again. Please tell me they're ready. The engagement party is tonight. Just picking them up now, I replied. They're everything you wanted. I packed the boxes carefully, each save the date nestled in cream-colored envelopes. 300 little bombs, waiting to explode. Back at my studio, Colin helped me sort them by zip code. Last chance to back out, he said, sealing another envelope. Look at this. I showed him my phone. Daphne had just posted on Instagram. So blessed to have my talented little sister handling our wedding stationery. Sometimes the simplest jobs bring the most joy. Wedding planning, or family first. Colin winced. Okay, she deserves this. My phone rang. Valerie. I let it go to voicemail. She'd been calling more frequently lately, probably suspicious of why I'd agreed to do all this work for free. She'd find out soon enough. The post office closes in an hour, Colin reminded me. We loaded the boxes into my car. At the post office, the clerk raised an eyebrow at the quantity, but started processing them efficiently. Each thump of her stamp felt like a heartbeat. All done, she announced. They'll go out first thing tomorrow. I drove Colin home, then returned to my studio. Daphne had texted again. Coming by to pick up some for the party tonight. Need to hand deliver to the Olivers. 20 minutes later, she burst in, trailing designer perfume and entitlement. Where are they? I need at least 30. I handed her a stack of envelopes. She immediately started inspecting them, holding each up to the light. The foil work is acceptable, she said, like she was grading a child's artwork. Though I still think the font could have been more elegant. Tyson's mother has incredibly refined taste. I'm sure she does. I thought of the photos in the hidden album. Tyson and Valerie in various compromising positions, their text exchanges, the hotel receipts. Oh! Daphne's face lit up at her phone. Valerie just got to the party venue. She's been such a rock through all this planning. She looked up at me. That's what real friendship looks like, Summer. You should try it sometime. I smiled. I'm learning a lot about friendship lately. She missed my tone completely. Well, try not to be such a hermit. It's sad seeing you alone all the time. She headed for the door, precious envelopes clutched to her chest. Thanks for these. Try to come to the party if you can make yourself presentable. After she left, I opened my laptop and checked the album one last time. Everything was ready. In less than 24 hours, all those carefully curated lives would shatter. My phone lit up with a text from Colin. You okay? Never better, I replied. I worked late into the night, catching up on client projects I'd neglected while perfecting Daphne's save the dates. Around midnight, My social media started filling with photos from the engagement party. Daphne and Tyson, picture perfect. Valerie standing nearby, champagne in hand, wearing a dress that cost more than my monthly rent. One photo caught my eye. Tyson's mother showing off the save the date to a group of society women, pointing out the exquisite detailing. If she looked closely enough, she might even spot the QR code tonight. But she wouldn't. None of them would. Not until tomorrow when some bored guest decided to investigate the intricate pattern more carefully. My phone buzzed one final time. Daphne. Everyone loved them. See what happens when you actually apply yourself? Maybe this will lead to some real work for you. I started to reply, then stopped. Instead, I opened my calendar and created an event for tomorrow. D-Day. Outside my window, the city lights twinkled like they were in on the secret. Somewhere out there, 300 envelopes were sitting in postal bins, waiting for morning. 300 ticking clocks, all set to go off at once. I shut down my computer and got ready for bed. Tomorrow would be a busy day, and I wanted to be well rested for the show. After all, as Daphne always said, presentation is everything. The first call came at 2:17 p.m. I watched Daphne's name flash on my phone screen, ignored it, and continued working on a client's logo design. Then another call, and another. My phone buzzed with a text from Colin. "It's starting." I'd just finished responding when my studio door burst open. Daphne stood there, mascara streaking down her face, clutching her phone like a weapon. "What did you do?" she screamed. "What did you do?" I kept my voice calm. "You'll need to be more specific." She thrust her phone in my face. "The QR code. Everyone's calling me. Texting me. There are pictures, Summer." "Oh." I turned back to my computer. "That's interesting. Don't you dare act innocent." She slammed my laptop closed, nearly catching my fingers. "Pictures of Tyson. Private messages. How did you get these?" "I'm good at what I do," I said quietly. "My silly little hobby, remember?" Her face went from red to white. You planned this?" "Like you said. I just needed to apply myself." The slap came fast, stinging across my cheek. I didn't flinch. "You're lying," she hissed. "You doctored those photos. You're trying to ruin my life because you're jealous." My phone kept buzzing. Mom. Dad. Unknown numbers. "Ask Valerie," I suggested. "She's in most of those photos." Daphne's hands started shaking. "Valerie would never—" "Check your messages," I said. "I'm sure she's trying to reach you by now." As if on cue, Daphne's phone lit up with Valerie's call. She stared at it, then at me, then back at her phone. When she answered, her voice was small. "Val?" I could hear Valerie's panicked voice through the speaker. "Daphne, I can explain. It didn't mean anything. Tyson said you were always too busy." Daphne ended the call. She sank into my client chair, her perfect posture crumbling. 300 save the dates, I said, standing up. 300 QR codes. How many have been scanned so far? Why? She looked up, tears cutting through her makeup. Why would you do this to me? To you? I laughed. This isn't about you. This is about truth, about consequences, about years of being treated like I'm nothing while you and Valerie and Tyson play your little games. My phone buzzed again. A text from Colin. Local gossip blog just picked up the story. You might want to check Twitter. Daphne's phone was exploding with notifications. She scrolled through them, her hands shaking harder. Mom's calling. The Olivers are calling. Oh God, it's trending. You wanted exposure for my work, I reminded her. Looks like you got it. She stood up suddenly, grabbing her purse. I'll deny everything. I'll say you're crazy, that you fabricated it all because you're a bitter, lonely failure. Go ahead. I opened my laptop again. The metadata's all there. Timestamps, locations, hotel receipts. I'm very thorough with my work, when I actually apply myself. A new voice from the doorway. What the hell is going on? Tyson stood there, his perfect hair disheveled, his face flushed. He looked at Daphne, then at me, then at his phone. The pictures. How did... Ask Valerie, Daphne and I said in unison. He backed away, already dialing. My father's lawyers will... Will what? I interrupted. Sue me for exposing the truth. Go ahead, I saved everything. Daphne moved toward him, reaching out, but he turned and fled. We could hear his expensive shoes pounding down the hallway. My sister stood in the middle of my studio, her world collapsing in real time. For a moment, I saw the little girl who used to share her ice cream with me, who held my hand on the first day of school. Then she straightened her spine, wiped her eyes, and pointed at me. You're dead to this family. Dead. I've been dead to this family for years, I replied. The only difference is now everyone knows why. She stormed out, slamming the door so hard my design awards rattled on their shelf. I sat back down at my computer, opened Twitter, and watched as my sister's perfect life unraveled in real time. Wedding scandal was trending locally. Someone had already made a meme of the save the date design. My phone lit up with a text from an unknown number. This is Ainsley, your cousin. I'm supposed to be the wedding photographer. Just wanted to say, damn girl. Respect. I saved her number, then opened my email. 3 new client inquiries had arrived, all referencing the innovative QR code design work they'd seen online. Sometimes exposure really is everything. Wedding scandal of the year. Designer sister exposes cheating groom through QR code, the headline screamed from my laptop screen. The local gossip blog had turned it into their top story, complete with blurred versions of the leaked photos and a high-res image of my save-the-date design. My studio doorbell rang. Colin rushed in, waving his phone. Have you seen this? You've gone viral. I've noticed. I gestured to my inbox, flooding with messages. The wedding planning community is particularly interested. Summer? A quiet voice from the door. My father stood there, looking older than I'd ever seen him. We need to talk. Colin squeezed my shoulder. I'll get us some coffee, he said, slipping out. My father sat heavily in the client chair. Your mother is... She's not handling this well. Is anyone? He rubbed his face. Couldn't you have handled it more gracefully? Talked to your sister privately? Like anyone would have believed me? I turned my screen toward him. Look at the comments, Dad. Everyone knew. The Olivers' friends, Daphne's social circle, they all knew. They just kept quiet, because it was more convenient. But exposing it like this, he gestured helplessly. The humiliation... The truth, I corrected. I just designed the messenger. My phone buzzed. A text from Valerie. I've lost everything because of you. I hope you're happy. I showed it to my father. Funny how the people who actually did something wrong are the ones acting betrayed. He stood up, straightening his jacket. Your mother wants you to know you're not welcome at Sunday brunch anymore. I never was. After he left, Colin returned with coffee and a paper bag. Brought sustenance. You might need it. There's a reporter from the City magazine downstairs. What? They want to do a piece on innovative design in the digital age or something. Pretty sure they just want the scandal details, but hey, publicity is publicity. My phone rang again. This time it was Ainsley, my cousin the photographer. Hey, I know this is weird timing, but I have a client who loves what you did with that QR code. Any chance you'd want to collaborate? You're not worried about working with the family pariah? She laughed. Please, half the family's been waiting for someone to knock Daphne down a peg. We just didn't expect it to be so... artistic. After we hung up, I opened Instagram. Daphne had posted a lengthy statement. In light of recent events, orchestrated by those who clearly suffer from deep-seated jealousy and emotional instability. The comments were brutal. Girl, take the L. Team designer sister. Anyone have the QR code? Asking for a friend. A new email popped up from my mother. I hope you understand what you've done to this family. Your sister is devastated. Tyson's mother had to leave their country club early yesterday. Is this what you wanted? To destroy everyone's lives with your petty revenge? I started to reply, then deleted the draft. Instead, I opened my design software and began working on a new project, my first commission from the scandal exposure. Colin peered over my shoulder. You okay? Better than okay. I showed him the commission details. They want a campaign built around revealing hidden truths through design. The irony is perfect. Speaking of perfect, he nodded toward my window. Tyson's Tesla was pulling up outside. He got out, straightening his tie like he was heading into a business meeting. Want me to stay? Colin asked. No, I've got this. Tyson entered without knocking. We need to discuss terms. We really don't. My father's prepared to offer. No amount of money will make those photos disappear, I interrupted. They're out there now, just like you and Valerie were out there, all those nights Daphne was planning your wedding. He slammed his hand on my desk. You've ruined everything. No, you did that. I just made it look pretty. He left as quickly as he'd arrived, nearly colliding with a delivery person carrying a massive bouquet. The card read, From one truth-teller to another. Let's talk about a feature story. Editor, Design Weekly. My phone lit up with another text from Ainsley. Hey, random question. Any chance you're free to design my brother's wedding invitations? His fiancée loves scandals, and apparently you're now the edgy choice for society weddings. I laughed, really laughed, for the first time in days. My computer pinged with another email notification, this time from a major design firm. Maybe Daphne was right after all. Sometimes the simplest jobs really do bring the most joy, especially when they're executed perfectly. The official cancellation announcement appeared on Daphne's Instagram exactly 1 week after the QR code scandal broke. Due to private circumstances, Tyson and I have decided to postpone our wedding indefinitely. Please respect our privacy during this difficult time. The comments section exploded within minutes. Private circumstances, LMAU. Your sister did you a favor. Team Summer forever. I closed the app and turned to Colin, who was helping me pack up my studio. You sure about this move? The design hub downtown offered me twice the space for the same rent, I said, carefully wrapping my awards. Plus, they want me to teach a workshop on innovative digital integration in print design. You mean, how to hide scandalous QR codes in wedding invitations? That's the unofficial title. My phone rang. My mother. I let it go to voicemail, but she called right back. What? I answered. I'm removing you from my will, she announced without preamble, and selling your childhood art supplies. I was never really in it anyway, I replied. And those supplies were Daphne's hand-me-downs. You've made your point, Summer. You've had your revenge. Are you happy now? Your sister barely leaves her house. I taped up another box. Maybe she should have thought about consequences before... Before what? Before trusting her sister? Before giving you a chance to be part of something special? Before treating me like garbage for 29 years? She hung up. Seconds later, a text arrived. You'll regret this when you're as alone as you've made your sister. Colin read it over my shoulder. You're not alone, you know. I know. I showed him my email. I have 3 new clients this week, 2 magazine interviews tomorrow, and apparently I'm trending on design Twitter. The studio door opened. Ainsley walked in, carrying coffee and a magazine. You're going to want to see this. She spread the magazine on my desk. It was the latest issue of Modern Design Monthly, featuring a full-page analysis of my save-the-date work. The headline read, "The Art of Exposure: How One Designer Turned Wedding Stationery into Social Commentary." "They're calling you a visual revolutionary," Ainsley said, grinning. "The perfect blend of artistry and activism." "Daphne's going to hate that," Colin remarked. "Daphne's moving to Chicago," Ainsley reported. "Apparently the Olivers pulled some strings, got her a job at their satellite office. She posted about new beginnings this morning." My phone buzzed with another email. The Design Hub wanted to know if I'd consider curating a gallery show. "Hidden in plain sight, the power of visual truth." "Say yes," Colin urged. "We can showcase the wedding suite alongside your other work. Make it about more than just the scandal." I was about to reply when a final text came through from Daphne. "You've made your point. I hope you're happy now. I hope your precious career was worth destroying your family." I stared at the message for a long moment, then typed back, "It wasn't about my career. It was about the truth. Something you never valued." She read it immediately but didn't respond. "Help me carry these boxes?" I asked Colin and Ainsley. "The new studio has better lighting." As we loaded my car, I caught a glimpse of my reflection in the window. I looked different somehow. Stronger maybe, or just more myself. "Oh!" Ainsley nearly dropped a box. "I almost forgot. Remember that collaboration we talked about? The client wants to meet tomorrow. They're planning this huge society wedding, but they want it to be authentic and boundary-pushing. Translation, they want drama without having to create it themselves," Colin laughed. "Maybe," I said, "but at least they're honest about it." We finished loading the car as the sun set, casting long shadows across the parking lot. My old studio looked small now, almost confining. Tomorrow I'd start fresh in a space 3 times this size, with windows overlooking the city and my name on the door. My phone lit up one last time. A message from my father. "Your mother's upset, but I saw the magazine article. The work is beautiful, Summer, even if the timing wasn't." I showed Colin and Ainsley. "Progress?" "Baby steps," Colin said. "At least someone in your family finally saw your work for what it is." "Art," Ainsley added. "Really, really effective art." We locked up the old studio and headed out. Behind us, the building's security lights clicked on, illuminating the empty space where I'd planned my sister's downfall with precise artistic detail. Tomorrow would bring new projects, new challenges, new opportunities to tell the truth through design. But tonight, watching my old life recede in the rearview mirror, I felt nothing but light. Today would have been Daphne's wedding day. Instead of watching my sister walk down the aisle, I sat at my new drafting table, working on designs for a tech startup's rebranding. The irony wasn't lost on me. They wanted something transparent and authentic. My phone buzzed. A notification from Instagram. Daphne had posted for the first time since moving to Chicago. Sometimes the universe has other plans. Today, I'm celebrating new beginnings. Rebirth party. The photo showed her surrounded by champagne bottles and new friends, all wearing white like some twisted mockery of a wedding party. She'd tagged the location, an upscale rooftop bar downtown. "You're not actually thinking of going, are you?" Colin asked, reading over my shoulder. "No," I said, turning back to my work. "Yes." I grabbed my keys. "Maybe." "Summer, I just need to return something." In my apartment, I dug through my jewelry box until I found it. A delicate silver bracelet Daphne had given me on my 16th birthday. Back when we were still sisters, not just characters in each other's stories, the rooftop bar was exactly as pretentious as I'd expected. I heard Daphne's laugh before I saw her, that practiced society trill she'd perfected years ago. "Oh my God," someone whispered as I approached. "Is that?" Daphne turned. Her champagne glass froze halfway to her lips, What are you doing here? Delivery. I held out the bracelet. Found this while packing up my studio. She stared at it, recognition flickering across her face. You kept that old thing? Until today. Her new friends watched our exchange like it was a tennis match. One pulled out her phone, probably hoping to capture something dramatic for social media. You know, Daphne said, her voice carrying across the rooftop, I've been doing a lot of thinking in Chicago. About family. About forgiveness. Have you? I set the bracelet on her table. Or have you just been planning how to spin this into your comeback story? You're one to talk about stories. She picked up the bracelet. You turned my life into your little art project. No, I just designed the frame. You and Tyson painted the picture. A murmur rippled through her friends. Someone definitely started recording. You want to know the funny thing? Daphne's voice dropped lower. For years, I actually felt bad for you. Poor little Summer. So talented, but so invisible. I gave you the biggest opportunity of your career, and you used it to destroy me. Opportunity? I laughed. You mean free labor? Your chance to remind everyone that your little sister was just a hobby artist? At least I included you. When's the last time you included me in anything? Yesterday, I said quietly. My gallery show opened. Mom and Dad came. That stopped her. What? They saw my work, really saw it, maybe for the first time. Dad cried when he realized how long I'd been screaming in silence through my designs. Mom asked if I'd teach her about digital integration. Daphne's perfect mask cracked, just slightly. They never told me. Why would they? You blocked all our numbers. She twisted the bracelet between her fingers. I had to start fresh. My whole life fell apart in one day because of you. No, I corrected her. Your fake life fell apart. The real one's still waiting whenever you're ready to live it. I turned to leave, but her voice stopped me. Was any of it real? When we were kids? The bracelet was. I looked back at her. That's why I kept it so long. And that's why I'm returning it now. You broke long before I ever picked up the pieces. Her friends had gone silent, phones still recording. Tomorrow this would probably be all over social media. The designer's sister crashes the rebirth party. But for once, I didn't care about the exposure. Summer! Daphne called as I reached the exit. The design! It really was beautiful. Even the QR code. I know, I said, and left. Outside, the summer evening wrapped around me like a warm blanket. My phone buzzed. Ainsley had sent a link to an article, Wedding Design Scandal Sparks Industry Revolution, How Hidden Codes Are Changing Modern Stationery. Below it was a message. You didn't just change your life. You changed the whole game. I walked back to my car, leaving behind the sound of Daphne's party resuming without me. The bracelet that had weighed down my jewelry box for years now sat on her table, a relic of a relationship that had died long before any QR code brought truth to light. My phone buzzed again. A new client inquiry, looking for something unique, something that tells the whole story, not just the pretty parts. I smiled and started composing a reply. That, at least, was something I knew how to do. The gallery buzzed with opening night energy. My exhibition, Hidden in Plain Sight, had drawn quite a crowd, including, to my surprise, both my parents. They stood before the centerpiece, a massive print of Daphne's wedding invitation, QR code gleaming under gallery lights. It's different seeing it like this, my father said quietly. The detail work. I never really looked before. My mother touched the frame gently. All those years, you were telling us stories through your art. We just didn't know how to read them. Before I could respond, Colin rushed over. Summer, you need to see this. He handed me his phone. An email had just arrived, From Valerie. Dear Summer, I'm getting married. Before you ask, no, not to Tyson. I met someone who actually values honesty. I know this is strange, but would you design our invitations? No hidden codes needed this time. Everything's already in the open. Valerie. Well, that's unexpected, Colin said. I handed his phone back. So is this whole night. Look around. The gallery was filled with design students sketching in notebooks, photographers analyzing my techniques, and society wives whispering behind their hands. My new studio had a 6-month waiting list. The scandal had transformed into something else entirely, a conversation about truth in art, about speaking when words fail. Summer? A familiar voice. I turned to find Ainsley with her camera. Mind if I add something to the exhibition? She pulled up a photo on her screen. Daphne at her rebirth party, holding the silver bracelet, mask finally cracked. The caption read, "The moment truth catches up." It's perfect, I said. Print it. My phone buzzed. A text from Daphne. Saw your exhibition made the national design blogs. Guess you were never just a hobby artist after all. I showed Colin. Progress? Baby steps, he agreed. The gallery director approached with a champagne flute. We've sold 4 pieces already, and there's someone here you should meet, a publisher interested in turning your story into a coffee table book about revolutionary design techniques. My mother overheard. A book? About my daughter's work? The pride in her voice was new, fragile, real. I excused myself and stepped onto the gallery's balcony. The city sparkled below, full of stories waiting to be told. My phone buzzed again. Another text from Daphne. I'm not ready to forgive you, but I'm starting to understand why you did it. The bracelet's on my desk at work. Reminds me of who we used to be, who we might be again someday. I typed back. Some designs take time to perfect. Inside, the crowd had gathered around my newest piece, a series of interconnected frames showing the evolution of my work. From early designs where I hid my pain in pretty flourishes, to the wedding suite that broke everything open, to my latest projects. Bold, honest, unafraid. It's like watching someone find their voice, I heard someone say. Colin joined me on the balcony. Valerie's email. Are you going to do it? Maybe. I smiled. But first, I have another project. I showed him my sketches for a new design series, Sister Stories, exploring how families break and rebuild through visual narrative. The first piece is that photo of Daphne with the bracelet, I explained. Sometimes the most powerful truth is the simplest one. And what's that? That we're all just people, trying to be seen. My father called from inside. Summer? The publisher wants to talk numbers. I took one last look at the city lights. My phone held Daphne's text, Valerie's email, and dozens of messages from people who saw themselves in my work. The revenge that had started everything had evolved into something bigger, a conversation about authenticity in a world of carefully curated lies. Ready? Colin asked. Almost. I sent one final text to Daphne. The gallery's open late tomorrow. Come see who we really are. Inside, the exhibition hummed with life. My mother was explaining my techniques to strangers. My father beamed at anyone who would listen. The QR code that had shattered one life had somehow built another, one where truth wasn't just tolerated, but celebrated. I stepped back through the gallery doors, into the light of my own design. Whatever came next, Valerie's wedding, Daphne's possible reconciliation, my expanding career, would be built on foundation of absolute truth. After all, that's what good design is about, showing people exactly what they need to see, whether they're ready for it or not. The rest is just details.